So integers, what are integers? So integers are basically, they're all of the positive and negative whole numbers within the number system. So for example, integers can be positive whole numbers, like +4, for example, or just 4, or they can be negative whole numbers, like, for example, -4. And integers are used in everyday life, like the example, the temperature scale. So if we have a look at this thermometer here, we can see that we're using integers. So we have 0, if you like, is like the midway or midpoint. The positive integers are above or greater than 0. Okay, so we have +10, +20, +30. Now notice that we don't need to put this positive symbol in front of the positive integers. It's just assumed. So if you see, for example, like this 10 on its own, that means it's a positive integer. So we have the numbers above 0, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, for example. They're integers, but they're what are known as they're positive integers or positive numbers. Then if we go below 0, so when it gets pretty cold, we need negative numbers or negative integers to represent that coldness. So for example, the numbers below 0, in this case -10, -20, -30, are all examples of integers, and they are negative integers. So integers are basically all the negative and positive whole numbers. And this is one place where we use them. Now, a way to kind of think about them in your head is to visualize what's called a number line. So here we have what's called a number line. And if we have a look in the middle of the number line, we have the number 0. All the numbers, or all the positive numbers greater than 0, are on the right hand side of 0. So for example, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And that goes on forever. It goes all the way up to infinity. And all of the numbers below 0 are the negative numbers, or the negative integers. They're all on the left hand side. So for example, we have 0, we have -1, -2, -3, -4, -5. So you can think about it as decreasing. So a way to kind of think about it is that, so plus, when we plus, okay, or when we add, if you like, so positive, we're moving in this direction on the number line, and then negative, or negative integers, we're moving this way on the number line. And it's also important to note as well that when we think about these signs, for example, so we have this sign and this sign here. So this first sign is the less than sign. So think about it as like an L, and this is less than sign. This sign here is what's known as the greater than sign. Now, when we're dealing with negative and positive whole numbers or integers, we can say things like, for example, if we take the number here, so for example, -4. So -4, which is here on the number line, is less than 2, for example. Okay, so the negative numbers or the negative integers are less than the positive integers. Another way we can put it as well is we can say that the positive integers are greater than the negative integers. So you can say, for example, that 3 is greater than -3. So it's greater in value. So again, that's just a quick introduction to integers, what they are. So integers are all of the positive and negative whole numbers. So for example, we have positive numbers like just 4, and we have negative numbers like -4. We use integers in things like the temperature scale. So for example, temperatures above 0 are considered hot, and these are represented by using positive integers. Temperatures below 0, which we use negative numbers or negative integers, are are temperatures that are colder. Okay, so -10 is colder than +10. A way to represent it then is this thing that's called a number line. So again, we start in the middle of the number line, you have 0. The numbers on the right are the positive integers, and the numbers on the left are the negative integers. And you can see here we have this negative sign that we put in front of negative integers. And again, the other thing that's really important is that negative integers are less than positive integers. So for example, we can use this symbol here, which means less than. So -4, which is here, is less in value than +2. Okay, so you can see that -4 is here on the number line, and +2 is here on the number line. So as you go across to the right, the value gets bigger. As you go across to the left, the value gets smaller. And so +3 is greater than -3. And this number line goes on in both directions to infinity. So that is integers. That's a quick introduction to positive integers and negative integers. So it's important that you're able to identify the different types of integers. You have positive and negative. They're positive and negative whole numbers.